This is your economics teacher here with your next chapter, chapter number 6, rural development. Now in this chapter you will be talking about introduction, process of rural development, rural credit, agro marketing, alternate marketing sources of sources and diversification. In this particular video, this is your first video for this chapter. In this we will be discussing about introduction, process of rural development and rural credit. Now what do you understand by rural areas? Where in some of the rural areas we lack in road infrastructure, then electricity is not there, then proper sanitation conditions are not available, water supply is too poor, as well as the conditions of health related equipments is also not available, schools are not proper. Then you have another things like they are not provided with all the technologies available existing in the world around. They are not having proper access to the things. They don't have proper rooms to study in, even in other season they can't. They need to sit in open areas. Then poverty affecting all aspects. This is the scenario of rural areas in our country. Means poor accessibility to water, congested living areas, then poor ventilation, kacha houses are existing, then very less quantity of food is available for these children. By these pictures you can automatically understand that these are the reasons behind, these are the conditions existing in our rural areas even today also. So what are actually the conditions behind this? That we are still following the primitive methods of agriculture. Then drought situation may exist anytime, and then you will lose your full crop and you won't be able to overcome with the issues. Then we are still dependent on agriculture only. There are so many other things or so many other activities on which you can depend and you can generate your additional income, but still we don't give any importance to these activities. So this is the flow chart that we are going to follow for this particular chapter. Okay, now next item is your introduction. Under this introduction, the population of India is living in villages, around about 3/4. Out of this 3/4, 22% are living below poverty line. Then they are depending on agriculture. So these are the three major issues. Firstly, population, 3/4 of the population is living in village. Out of that, 22% is living below poverty line, and their dependence on agriculture is very high. But after the implementation of the reforms, new economic policy and the reforms in 1991, the contribution of agriculture is continuously declining at a rate of 3% per annum. So when you want to develop your country, you need to put your efforts more on the development of rural areas, and that can be only done with the help of improving the economic and social conditions of the country. Now what you understand, or what is the meaning of rural development? It is the continuous and comprehensive growth of socio-economic process attempting to improve all aspects of rural life. So this is the definition of your rural development. The next issue that we need to study here is a process of rural development. Process of rural development takes place in 5 ways. In 5 ways means the first one is to development of human resource. It includes literacy, more specifically female literacy, education and skill development. Including into the same point, it is health issue also, sanitation and public welfare. Then another point, it is your development of productive resources of each locality. Means other than agriculture, you should focus more on secondary activities that can be generated and that they can contribute to income of the people living in rural areas. Third is your land reforms, and under this your elimination of intermediaries should be done, land ceiling should be done, then equity in agriculture sector should be developed, so that only the rich will not grow, it will make the poor farmers also to grow simultaneously. Another issue is your elevation of poverty. Steps to improve the living conditions of weaker sections by providing them with basic necessity items at a very nominal rates, so that they won't need to spend more on food and health and other shelter issues. Then again you have another point that that should be considered to develop rural areas is to generate employment opportunities for all the people living in rural areas who are really poor and they need upliftment for their development. Okay, so these are all the 5 points that you need to remember. Then how you can remember these 5 points? You have 5 steps for your quick remembering or quick memory points. HR is your development of human resource. INF is all your related to the topic infrastructure development. Then you have LRR, land reforms. Then fourth one is your poverty alleviation program, and then fifth one is your employment generation. Okay, so these are the 5 steps that you need to follow for rural under the process of rural development. Now the term next topic in the chapter is your rural credit. What do you understand by the term credit, and why do we need to have credit? Because you know that in rural areas we are generally depending on agriculture, and agriculture doesn't mean that you are sowing a crop today and tomorrow you are going to get its return, or within a period of 1 month you will get your returns. This is not possible. It takes around about 3 to 6 months to realize your income from agriculture. Okay, because the farmer will sow the seed of the plant, then he will grow it, and if in case the crop fails, then he is not going to get any returns. Then similarly when if the crop grows on well, then it needs to be harvested, then it needs to be cleaned, it needs to be packed, and then it is put up in the market for sale. So the gestation period is very long. The gestation period is very long means from sowing till harvesting, and harvesting till putting in the market and receiving some income out of that. It takes a very long period of time, and it is around about 6 months. And if you are growing 2 crops in a season, and if any one of the crop fails, then again the period becomes very long, and it goes for one complete year. So for this reason, these rural poor need to take credit. Okay, now the categories of credit that is needed by these people is your short term credit, medium term credit, and long term credit. The short term credit is needed to fulfill the needs of purchasing seed, fertilizer, pesticide, and it generally goes on for a period of 6 to 12 months. Whenever the crop will come, they will clear their credits, and they can go for another loan. Whereas second is your medium term credit. It is actually needed to purchase machineries, threshers, tractors, and other items, and it goes on for 1 to 5 year period of time. Whereas third form of credit, it is your long term credit. Long term credit is needed to purchase a fixed asset. Fixed asset is your land or machinery or tractors, or you can say some permanent improvement in the piece of land, whatever you are having, that is taken up in long term credit. Now productive and unproductive credits are generally used. Productive means when it gives you positive results, it becomes productive. And when it gives you negative results, then when you are not able to recover the loan and repay the loan, I must say, and it becomes a burden on you, then it is called as unproductive credit, because it has not given anything to you in return. And to fulfill their needs, these farmers, they generally take loans from the money lenders, and these money lenders generally charge them with very high rate of interest. They manipulate in the accounts, they make these farmers to get trapped in debt trap situation, because they need to mortgage their land, they need to mortgage their gold, and whatever situations are there, only the sufferer is the poor farmer. Now the sources of credit existing in rural areas. The first one is your non-institutional sources that we talked about. It is money lenders, relatives, traders, and agents. Then you have rich individuals are also there, rich landlords are also there, who provide the money to farmers. Second one is your institutional sources of credit, and it is also known as multi-agency system. This multi-agency system consists of 7 units. These 7 units are: the first one is cooperative credit, second is land development bank, then third is commercial bank, regional rural banks, and government provides support from its own side. NABARD is also there, and SHGs. But the reason is that these institutional sources of credit, they generally need some collateral. It is very lengthy paperwork is there, the time period is long to achieve the loan. So that is why these rural poor people, they depend on non-institutional sources of credit. Okay, non-institutional sources of credit, it is your money lenders, relatives, traders, commission agents, rich landlords. So these are all the people who are involved in providing credits to the rural farmers. Okay, now again, institutional sources of credit, it is your cooperative credit, land development bank, commercial bank credit, then you have rural regional rural banks, then you have government, and all these banks and units, they generally provide loans to rural poor as well as farmers. The role of cooperative credit is that they pool the money. Cooperative credit means they pool the money, they form a cooperative, they and at the time of need, these cooperatives provide loan to the members, its members, and their main focus is to to bring the peasants out from the clutches of money lenders. Okay, clutches of money lenders means the trap of money lenders from which they need to come out, so that they can only develop. Now the second is land development bank. Land development bank provides credit to farmers against mortgage of their land. Loans are provided for improvement of land, purchasing agricultural implements, etc. Then third is your commercial bank credit. Commercial bank provides marginal role in advancing rural credit. Plays a very marginal role, means its role is negligible, because they are still not taking initiative in rural areas, because already RRBs and LDRs are there. Then after nationalization in 1969, they have also started providing loans to the rural people. Next is your regional rural banks. These type of banks, they are opened in all the rural areas, and they provide loans to these rural poor at a very low rate of interest. Then government is also there, which is playing its role, and in case of any natural calamities like drought, flood, or any other earthquake, when the whole crop gets destroyed of that particular area or region, government provides loans to the farmers at a 6% rate of interest to overcome with the devastating situations. Okay, now NABARD description is there. It is apex funding agency of RRB and LDB. Then it coordinates all rural finance activities, then monitors projects financed by it, then provides assistance in non-farm activities like warehousing, animal husbandry, poultry farming, fisheries, and other activities which needs money to grow. Okay, it is just like your RBI, Regional Bank of India. So RBI, Reserve Bank of India. So Reserve Bank of India is the topmost authority regarding banking, and NABARD comes under this RBI. Okay, now next is your SHG. SHG means self-help groups. In the previous slide, you can see some of the commercial banks which are taking part in activities of rural credit. Okay, now SHGs, these are the bank linkages program for microfinance. They are also called as micro credit programs. Okay, it is generally focusing on providing loans to the poor rural households who can contribute and a minimum amount every day. From the pooled money, the credit is given to the needy members to be repayable in small installments at reasonable rate of interest. By the end of year 2012, more than 12 lakhs of SHGs are working as credit links in our country. Such credit provisions are generally referred to as micro credit programs. These SHGs are helping the females most in our country, because females are considered as more reliable than any other then males or any other group of people. Okay, so these are the issues that we need to cover up in your rural credit part. There's one group, Kudumbashree, which is which is existing in the state Kerala, and it has started in the year 1995. It is a community based poverty reduction program. It has given a thrift and credit society, was started as a small saving banks for poor women with the objective to encourage savings. So you need to remember what is Kudumshri and what are its scheme and what it generally focuses on. Okay, so these are all the topics that we have covered in this. This is a symbol for SHG. If it comes for your exam, what does this symbol shows? So this is SHG, symbol of SHG. Now rural banking at a critical appraisal. Rural banking a critical appraisal means even though the government is providing all the rural poor with so many facilities, then also they got so many critical conditions existing, means it is criticized because first of all the issue is of inadequate coverage of the institutional sources. Inadequate coverage of the institutional sources means there are around about more than 1,000 villages in the country, and these institutions are only 500. So what about the rest of the 500 villages which are existing in the country? So this is one of the issue. Then second is your inadequate amount of sanctions at a place. Suppose when you talk about some village in nearby your area, and the people who are who are demanding loans is in number is 10, but the sanction is given only to 6 people or 6 numbers. So again the 4 will remain in the same situation because everyone wants loan and everyone is in need of loan. Then insufficiency volume of loan is less as compared to need, means the amount which is needed is very less and provided is very less. Means if you are in need of amount of 10 lakh, but if you are provided only with 5 to 6 lakh rupees, then again you are in short of 4 to 5 lakh rupees to fulfill your needs. So it is again insufficient. Then less attention to poor or marginal farmers. Again the poor, rich are aware of everything, they know everything, they are having collateral also, they are educated also, so they get benefited. The condition of poor remains at the same level. Then growing overdues, when there are situations of floods or drought or crop failure due to some of the other reasons, these farmers are not able to repay the loans on time, and so they come under NPA, non-performing account. So when they once they come under this NPA level or condition, they are not provided with any other loans to improve their conditions or to overcome with the situation. So these are some of the topics that we have covered in this first video of the chapter, and I hope you all have understood the basic concepts. Thank you. Have a nice day.